Over the past year, and other members in both parties have received hundreds of requests for assistance from federal retirees who have experienced significant delays in obtaining their full retirement benefits. Delays that oftentimes exceed 12 months, sometimes as much as 18 months and more. In the meantime, these federal retirees, and no one questions that they deserve and should receive these benefits, but since there's slow processing and antiquated technology, they're not getting to these earned retirement benefits. These retirees face inordinate hardships trying to pay their bills and survive on partial payments while the requirement paperwork moves through the system. Remarkably, in 2012, our whole retirement system is still a paper-based system. OPM also relies upon every other federal agency, like the Post Office and others where a federal employee works, to assemble and submit the retiree's paperwork in a timely and efficient manner. But as we've seen with the occasional snapshots that have been taken, some agencies literally have a 30 to 50% error rate in submitting the background materials for the retiree so that OPM can appropriately process their paperwork. And part of the goal of this postal reform, I know, is going to be to encourage some of the voluntary retirements in the postal system. Again, why this amendment is so timely. Meanwhile, the retirees wait for benefits that they've earned, and unfortunately, benefits that they can't get access to. We continue to hear from recent federal retirees who literally spend 8 or 10 hours a day trying to get through on the customer service line to find out where their benefits are. I'd like to share a few examples of what we're hearing. We recently heard from a retired colonel from Williamsburg, Virginia, who wrote, quote, "When I retired in March 2011, and at the time of this writing, OPM has still not figured out my full retirement pay. My savings are getting low." From here in Northern Virginia and Dumfries, Virginia, we heard from a federal employee, retiree, who said, "I have been subjected to severe financial hardship because of not getting my full benefits. I was recently told that the bank is repossessing my auto because I cannot afford to make the payments." And they're not able to make the payments because this retiree was not getting her benefits. She was existing on partial benefits until OPM could deal with the processing. From Warrenton, I am seeking assistance with obtaining my husband's health insurance, which was canceled unexpectedly. He worked for DOD. I notified OPM with the appropriate forms and a copy of his death certificate, all of which was apparently lost by OPM. I tried to obtain new forms, but was told that it would take up to 6 weeks. I am 80 years old and need my health insurance now. My husband and I were married for 60 years. This is just unacceptable. We've been told that the newest OPM technology is 12 years old. That's pretty remarkable. It's simply no longer feasible to expect that manual data entry for retirement and benefits claims makes sense when we have technology that can dramatically lower processing time and increase accuracy. OPM needs to modernize its technology in the long run. But in 2012, they need to at least start taking some short-term steps. It is just unacceptable that they rely upon paper processing in 2012. OPM, as I mentioned, has made some progress, but ultimately they still want to remain committed to a paper processing system. Doesn't make any sense. And the kicker is, this problem is not new. As indicated by this press story, federal agencies have routinely pointed the finger of blame at OPM for causing these delays, while OPM points a finger back at the individual agencies for not getting the information to OPM in a timely manner. Now, we might think that this story was written just in the last few weeks. There have been actually stories written in the Post in the last few weeks about this subject. But the day I'm quoting from on this story, actually, May 19th, 1988. That's 24 years ago. Ronald Reagan was president when this was written, and we've had 4 presidents since then. Yet OPM continues to offer the same excuses and the same kind of back and forth finger pointing between agencies. We've seen this show before, and it needs to be taken off the air.